Yo, welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live, or your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution, breaking news, culture, medic warfare. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state. And today is one of those episodes where clearly the state is fighting back. I mean, they're literally redefining what a currency is, their new definition of what Bitcoin is. They call it a digital asset. But words are very powerful. Like, make no mistake, like words are extremely powerful. So when you call something, it's like, remember in Europe, right? It's the self-hosted wallets with the hosted wallets. It's like, think about it, right? It's as if the self-hosted wallet is the abnormal one and the hosted wallet is the normal one. So it's the same here. It's the same thing here, right? Bitcoin is not a currency, right? It's a digital asset, right? It's not a currency, it's a digital asset. Currencies can only exist if they come from governments, right? So that's their latest attempt. And also we're going to go through a bunch of other stuff, whether it's another attack on end-to-end encryption. They want to see what the F you're doing. And, what the implications would be living under a total central bank digital currency system, which we've gone over many times on this show. We say it all the time, right? It is Bitcoin or slavery. We're not hyperbolic when we say that. We mean it 100 million %. Anyways, no more delay. I want to bring up my legendary co-host, always optimistic. He dated Christine Lagarde, who was the head of the IMF and now is the head of the European Central Bank, also a convicted felon. Opti's ex-girlfriend. How you doing, Opti? What's up, dude?
Yo, you're making me look bad. Like, dating a convicted felon? Like, come on, man. Sheesh. Oh, man. But hey, it's been a good week. Yesterday we had Narwhal Tacos, and the day before we did the 3 good news for Bitcoin. But hey, it's Friday, and I guess the Friday show always covers all the crazy stuff they're trying to push through on the weekend. So I'm excited to get the maybe Nico Jones is going to show up and start ranting on us. I hope so. We got to end the week good, bro. We got to end the week good over here. But yeah, man, it's crazy. It's almost like we knew this was going to happen, and they continuously try to use that double speak to control Bitcoin. If there's an exit route, they will use it. And here is them trying to stop it. Anyways, on today's culture.
Opti's quoting his ex-girlfriend and everything.
Shut up. Oh, man. I'm getting trolled in the chat already, bro. Stop it.
What are we doing during the culture? We have a guest today. We do have a guest.
We got Dr. Albert, NGI, the first optometrist in Canada to accept Bitcoin. So we're going to talk about his Bitcoin journey and what's this doing for his business. So let's bring him in.
All right, let's bring him in. Let's introduce the man. How you doing, Albert? What's up?
Hi guys. Nice to see you guys. Very excited today.
Yeah, man.
Day.
Happy to have you on the show. Looking forward to our conversation. Opti, why don't you tell the audience who Albert is, what he does?
I just did, bro. You're not paying attention.
Why did I skip that? It's because I'm creating a poll in the background. Anyways, everybody, no more delay. Let's jump straight into the numbers. Let's do it.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Brought to you by Nodl. At this point, you should be running your own Bitcoin node. If you don't use your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Whirlpool, and Dojo, all from the comfort of your own home. And if you're a digital nomad, you have absolutely no excuse, because now you can run a Nodl through a virtual private server. Visit nodl.eu today. I also want to give a shout out to the largest Bitcoin conference in the world, Bitcoin 2024. It's coming up. It's not going to be in Miami this year, the year of the halving. It's going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, July 25th through the 20th, 2024. And I have some good news for you guys. You can get the early bird special ticket rates. It's only $299 for a GA ticket, 2 days access to the Bitcoin conference. And if you're looking for a job in the industry, you can get the industry pass only for $749. And if you're a whale, you can get the whale pass for $4,499. That tends to become a lot more expensive as it gets closer to the conference. So if you're looking to get a job in the industry or just hang out with a bunch of Bitcoiners in Nashville, you definitely don't want to miss the biggest Bitcoin conference of the year, Bitcoin Bitcoin 2024, and you could use the promo code SIMPLY and you get yourself a 10% discount on any of the tickets that you want. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is 27,065. Sats per dollar is 3,695. Block height, 792,569. Reachable Bitcoin nodes, 17,096. Blocks to halving, 47,431. Halving estimate, April 20th, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity is 5,312. Capacity value 143 million US dollars, and the realized monetary inflation rate is 1.76%. The market capitalization of Bitcoin, $524 billion with a B. Anyways, I have a quick update for you guys. We haven't talked about this for a long time. In the background, with everything going on, the Bitcoin hash rate continues to make all-time highs, right? Absolutely bonkers. Theoretically, Bitcoin becomes harder to computationally attack the higher the hash rate. The hash rate represents, for anyone who doesn't know, it's an estimate to the amount of computational power actively mining Bitcoin, right? So you want that number. It's, Michael Saylor says it best. It's going up forever, Laura. I think the hash rate is going up forever. But the thing that I wanted to highlight, which was really interesting, and I have a theory of the case, and I don't hear enough people talking about it on Twitter, but when I do post about it, a lot of people, it resonates with a lot of people, but it's the attack that happened on Bitcoin. And this attack happened, during the last bull market, right? And what am I talking about? And it went under the rug because a lot of people don't really appreciate or are paying attention to the infrastructure behind Bitcoin. So what am I talking about? So in the middle of 2020, so May 2021, this is the middle of the last bull market, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, banned Bitcoin mining within their borders. The hash rate plummeted by 50%. But if you guys are looking at the chart, if you guys are watching the video version of this, look at what happened to the price, right? It's almost as if, it's correlated. And then you have to think about it. Like, so they clearly attacked the price, right? I believe this is the reason as to why Bitcoin did not hit 100K last cycle. I think they did it on purpose. I think they attacked the price. And when you attack the price, NGU is the biggest convincer of people, right? I believe Bitcoin was destined to hit 100K, and I believe that it didn't hit 100K because they attacked it. And I mean, it's clear as day to me, like it's so correlated, right? The hash rate with the price. And why does the hash rate going down cause sell pressure? Well, it's not like those miners in China said, okay, forget the incentive. The government made it illegal. It's time to just go home and think of something else to do. No, they just left. They migrated overseas. They left China, and a lot of them came to Texas. A lot of them migrated over the world. And the most awesome part about Bitcoin is that you have one of the most powerful nation states in the world, the most totalitarian nation states, I might add, and they still couldn't kill the honey badger. In fact, the hash rate recovered without any central party or central authority or government trying to push that. Just Bitcoin's mere incentives alone, the hash rate recovered basically in less than a year or a little bit more than a year. And now it's making all-time highs. So they could only pull that trigger one time. So the CCP, one of the most powerful countries in the world, they attacked Bitcoin. They attacked Bitcoin right in the middle of the last bull market. I suspect that's one of the reasons that they knew that the Bitcoin didn't hit 100K. And what did they end up doing? They ended up making Bitcoin stronger in the long run, right? So, anyways, moving on to this. This is a great map. This is by the University of Cambridge, and it shows where, the estimated, where all the hash rate is located around the world. Of course, this is all estimated, right? So even after the ban, it's still estimated about 20% of the hash rate is still in China. Russia has about 4.6%. The United States, 37.84%, very, very high. I hope that doesn't get to 50%. Brazil has about 0.33. So El Salvador, so little, you can't even see it. Mexico has about 0.11. Canada has about 6.48%. Germany about 3%. Australia, you have about 0.36%. Kazakhstan, a large portion of the hash rate is there. It's about 13.22%. So, this is when China banned it, all those miners, all they did is just migrated to the United States. And a big portion of them actually migrated to Texas. Sweden has about 0.8%. Norway has about 0.74%. And I want to talk about those Nordic countries. So this is Jaron. We've had him on the show. He's part of the Luxor tech team, which, runs the Luxor mining pool, which represents about 6 to 7% of the Bitcoin hash rate. And this is what we're talking about. This is one of the strongest social attacks they have on Bitcoin is Bitcoin uses more electricity than the country of Denmark. Wow, Bitcoin is terrible, terrible for the environment. What they don't talk about is the fact that Bitcoin, it's only economical for Bitcoin to use stranded energy or isolated energy, or what we call on the show wasted energy. If it wasn't going to waste, it would be too expensive for Bitcoin miners. So Bitcoin miners are like water. They're going to flow to where they're treated best and where it's most economical for them to mine. And here's a great representation of this. Jaron says electricity prices in the Nordics continue to stay negative. Bitcoin miners in Finland and the northern parts of Norway and Sweden keep being paid to consume electricity, right? So think about that. Think about that for a second, right? Electricity up in the northern part of these countries is so underutilized. They're literally paying people to use it. And this is an important concept for you guys to arm yourself with, especially when you're talking to detractors, or you're talking to people that have been manipulated by the social attacks, the propaganda attacks, either coming from the Biden administration, basically saying, Bitcoin miners is terrible for the environment. We're going to tax it 30%. Now that's dead because of the debt ceiling deal. But the social attacks coming from one of the actors from Harold and Kumar, right? Total full on production, saying, oh, this is terrible for the environment. You have to change the code, all these these movements, right? The misrepresentations by the New York Times. It's important that you arm yourself with the data and with the facts. You say, listen, yes, Bitcoin mining might use a lot of energy, but what energy is it using? It's using energy that it was already going to waste. So that energy wasn't being used anyways, which is why it's so cheap, which is why it's economical for Bitcoin miners to use that said energy, right? And you got to arm yourself with these facts, right? Because this is how you defend yourself from these misrepresentations and these social attacks, right? It's just like, yes, fine, Bitcoin uses a lot of energy, but what energy is Bitcoin using? And that is the important discussion, and that is something that is not being talked about enough. Anyways, Opti, what are your thoughts on all this, bro?
Well, first off, the hash rate is going parabolic, and you just love to see it. And it really makes me wonder who started to mine Bitcoin and what mining farms are being deployed at the moment. But hey, Bitcoin, the biggest supercomputer in the world, is only getting stronger, and you just love to see it. Can't ban Bitcoin, can only ban yourself from Bitcoin. All the memes we usually talk about. But just to that last point, we know here, at least you and I and most people that hang out with us in the audience, that the Bitcoin energy FUD surrounding Bitcoin mining is never really about the facts. It's an emotional response to something that people don't understand. Obviously, on a surface level, it seems like, Bitcoin mining is going to boil the oceans and all that stuff we've heard for years. But when you really break down the facts, like, Bitcoin is using excess energy that no one is using, and why not make a profit off that? Bitcoin is incentivizing better energy use and will usher us into a bright orange future. So I know Bitcoin miners know this. I know most of the audience knows this, but there's still people out there that only read the headlines and still think that Bitcoin mining is bad for the environment. So it's just, on the one hand, an education issue. And on the other hand, it's something we talk about here all the time. It's winning the hearts and minds of the masses and explaining to people, maybe not with facts, more with a good story, or maybe some cartoons or podcast, or whatever mechanism you guys can figure out to show people that Bitcoin mining actually does improve the world and, combat the Harold and Kumar propaganda pieces of the world.
What's your take on this, Albert?
Yeah, and all this talk about energy, to me, I mean, it doesn't matter how much energy Bitcoin uses, because ultimately it's pretty much the most important use of energy maybe in the history of man. Like we're freeing society from slavery. So whether you're using it, I mean, whether it's more than Christmas lights, video games, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Right?
I mean, and that's like an important discussion, right? Because, you know, the world that they propose is that they want to have dictatorial powers. The central planners, they want to dictate, you know, what energy use is not okay, what energy use is okay.
Yeah.
And that's a very scary world to live in. And then tie this in with the central bank digital currencies, and that's going to enable them, give them the capability, you know, to give them the capability to control people, right? It's like, and you know, imagine it's like your energy use is tied to your central bank digital currency account. You use too much energy, or let's say you played video games for too long, or you have a gas stove, God forbid, or you buy too much steak, or you know, you drove too many miles in the month, and they shut down. And I really think, like, if you break it down and you get to a very fundamental level, right? You control energy, you control people. And I think that's really what it's about. And, you know, I always say Bitcoin exposes incentives, you know, and eventually it exposes like the very, very basic incentive. Like, what is it exactly that you're trying to do? And it's simple. You're trying to control people. And I think over time, they're going to run out of excuses. Like, you can only use the environment for so long. You can only use money laundering for so long, right? But instead of being on the defensive, on the back foot, that I see a lot of Bitcoiners, you know, we're instead of being reactionary, my theory of the case, and I think Walker from the Crypto Couple did an incredible job taking it on the offensive and attacking Bitcoin, attacking the New York Times, holding them to their own standards. Hashtag stop the presses. But yeah, we have to get on the offensive. We have to, you know, hold them to their own standards, right? And ask them. And I think this is the indefensible. I think this is the question that they will never be able to answer, which is, why are you forcing us to use the money that steals from us? Why are you forcing us to use the money that decreases in purchasing power over time? They have ignored that question. They have not come up with an argument for it. They try to deflect. And what they try to say is, you know what? Actually, you need a state to run a money. So they're not even answering the question. What they're doing is like, no, but I get it. But like, you need a government to run money. The problem is that government has abused that trust. I don't think Bitcoin would exist if governments if governments didn't print money the way that they've been printing money, basically breaking that social contract. I don't think that the incentive would have been there to create something like Bitcoin. But because governments can help themselves but to print money, to devalue everyone else's work and time and energy, you have something like Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is a peaceful protest to say, look, enough is enough. But yeah, these are one of the two social attacks are going to be the right to self-custody, and then the energy use thing. I think they're going to have a hard time with the energy use thing because the incentives are too big. Like, everyone, the profit incentive is there. Like, miners are just going to go where they're treated best. However, I think the self-custody attack is going to be a lot more successful. I think they're going to demonize it. They're going to label it. And I think that a lot of people are just not comfortable writing down 24 words, so I think that's definitely going to be a battle. Anyways, before
you go, it's been a while since I said this, and every time I say it, we always kind of have to walk back off the edge. But these central planners want you broke and destitute. This is why they're trying to control your energy. They want to take you back into the Stone Ages. This is not an official opinion of Simply Bitcoin. It's an official opinion of optimists.
Yep. Food, energy, and money.
Yeah, exactly.
You see what's happening in the Netherlands, right?
Yep.
With the farmers in Sri Lanka. now they're talking about it in the U.S. with the U.S. farmers. I read some tweets about that a week ago. So I wouldn't be surprised as well if they try to pull the same crap they've done in the Netherlands.
Yeah, 100%. You control food. You could say food is a form of energy, right? You could make that argument.
It's 100%.
You could make that argument. So you control energy, you control people. And I think fundamentally, Bitcoin is going to expose, that these people, it's not about, the greater good or, all the BS. It's really about controlling people on a fundamental level. I really think that is what it's about. Anyways, everybody, let's get on to the news. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of crazy stuff that we're going to go through today. But at the same time, if you guys have been tuned into the show, it should not come as a surprise to you either. Anyways, let's check it out.
The Daily News.
The Daily News is brought to you by Blockstream Jade, built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. It's an open source hardware wallet for the cold storage of Bitcoin. Check out the brand new limited edition color, the transparent green Jade. Blockstream Jade houses a full color camera, allowing for fully air-gapped Bitcoin transactions, scan and display QR codes directly on the device, assign transactions, and verify addresses with ease. Use your Blockstream Jade with your favorite wallet software, such as Blockstream Green, Blue Wallet, Electrum, Sparrow. Get yourself a Blockstream Jade today and take self-custody of your Bitcoin. All right, guys, before we get to the news, I want to give a shout out to the Orange Pill app. The Orange Pill app is building the social layer for Bitcoin. As crazy as this sounds, without the people, Bitcoin is just ones and zeros. Bitcoin is the people. Bitcoin is you, it's me, it's Opti, it's Albert, it's Satoshi. Download the Orange Pill app for iOS or Android and connect with other Bitcoiners in real life today. Find other plebs that live near you, or you can go into the app, totally anon, and search for other Bitcoiners by common interest. Orange Pill app is also the world's biggest repository for Bitcoin-only events. If you want to meet Bitcoiners in real life, this is the app for you. Sign up through the App Store, and you can even pay in sats. And also, Opti and I appreciate all the messages, and we do take the time every week to try to go through them all. So we really appreciate all the love. Anyways, I said this in the very beginning of the show. It is very, very interesting. And I say this all the time, guys. Words are powerful. Okay, words are powerful. You control vocabulary. You control people. And the redefinition of words is a very strong tool of control. It's something that goes over our heads a lot. People they're completely oblivious to this. If you've seen, again, guys, we don't lean left or right. We don't stand for or red versus blue. What we stand for is green versus orange. Green stands for central bank digital currency, slavery. Orange stands for freedom and prosperity, and Bitcoin, obviously. So that being said, the current culture war in the United States, right, over the last couple of years, right, and you've seen a lot of redefinition of words, right, or the pandemic, right, redefinition of what a vaccine is, right. So, the redefinition of words and words in general is very, very powerful. So don't take this lightly. Because these are tools that they use. And again, it's not to convince you. It's not to convince someone who has been orange pilled. It's to convince someone who has not been orange pilled, right? So when you hear in the lexicon, self-hosted wallet or hosted wallet, you have to take it upon yourself, right? If you hear, a family member or a friend repeating those words, you have to take it upon yourself, say, hey, that term does not exist in the Bitcoin white paper. That was made up by the government. Literally. I've never heard the term self-hosted wallet. That came into existence a couple years ago. Anyway, so this is the latest attempt. So on January 24, 2023, the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service today, the Internal Revenue Service, or the tax people in the United States, reminded taxpayers that they must again answer a digital asset question and report all digital asset related income when they file their 2022 federal income tax return, as they did for fiscal year in 2021. The term digital assets has replaced virtual currencies, a term used in previous years. And that's very important, right? It's very, very important. What does that mean? Bitcoin is not a currency. Bitcoin is a digital asset. You know, we can only use or determine what a currency is and what a currency is not, right? And we've heard it from their mouths. We've heard it from, you know, their reports, right? Whether that is the Future of Money report that was released by the U.S. Treasury, whether that is the White House economic report that was released by the Biden administration. We've heard them make the case that you need a government to issue a money. And, you know, normally you would say, okay, that's fine. The problem is that governments have abused that privilege, and they've abused that privilege to benefit themselves at the cost of their citizens, right? Anyway, so going kind of pivoting, also talking about the IRS as well. IRS to send agents abroad to fight peer-to-peer, mixing DeFi and crypto crimes. Goes on to say IRS criminal investigation will launch a pilot program in June where cyber attachés will deploy to 4 continents across the globe to combat cybercrime, focusing on tax and financial crimes that use cryptocurrency, decentralized finance, peer-to-peer payments, and mixing services. The 4 individuals tapped to serve as Cybertime's attaché have significant experience investigating cybercrime and will work with IRS law enforcement counterparts in Asia, Europe, South America, and Australia. The cyber attachés will deploy to Sydney, Australia, Bogota, Colombia, Frankfurt, Germany, and Singapore for a 120-day detail, which takes place from June to September 2023. Now, the thing that I want to focus on is like, okay, fine, they're combating crime. You know, maybe they're going after drug lords, and you know, maybe they're going after real criminals. But again, words are important. They're basically saying that they're going to focus on peer-to-peer payments. Like, what is wrong with a peer-to-peer payment? Like, it again, it implies that somehow peer-to-peer is dangerous. And, you know, and again, words are important, right? Because, you know, and we've seen this, guys. We've seen this over the last 2 or 3 years. I think the internet has really awoken a lot of people to the fact that media has been used as a control mechanism. Those aren't my words. Literally, Tucker said this before he got fired. We played you the clip. He went on a podcast. But the corporate legacy media has been used as a control mechanism, and these are the types of words that the corporate media are going to use. They're going to say, you know what, peer-to-peer, that's dangerous. You know what, Bitcoin, it's not a currency, it's a digital asset. You can't see it as a currency. What are you talking about? So, and then here, moving on to Spain, right, which is in Europe. Here's an article by Wired Magazine. It says leaked government document shows Spain wants to ban end-to-end encryption. In response to an EU proposal to scan private messages for illegal material, the country's officials said it is, quote, imperative that we have access to the data. Now, the argument that you would say is, okay, you know, this is good. This is going to stop crime. Like this is actually a good thing. But history has shown otherwise. History has shown when governments have this much power, they absolutely abuse it. And here, you know, the Twitter files, which were released when Elon Musk bought Twitter, were a great indication of this. And I'm going to tie this in with central bank digital currencies in a second. So here's a tweet thread, better said, by Alex Berenson. And he goes on to say, Twitter's own lawyers believe the company could not successfully defend its pandemic vaccine censorship policies against my lawsuit over its 2021 ban of my account. Twitter was likely to lose Bernson versus Twitter, my federal lawsuit against the company for banning me over my vaccine reporting, Twitter's lawyers concluded after reviewing internal documents related to the ban. It goes on to say that that issue is central to Bernson versus Biden, my new lawsuit against the White House and Pfizer for allegedly conspiring to violate my First Amendment rights by coercing Twitter to ban me. And that's a very, very important, reveal here, right? Is that even in the United States, that American citizens are literally protected by the First Amendment. The First Amendment in the Constitution says Congress shall make no law abridging the speech of Americans. Governments could still not help themselves. So And do you blame them, right? It's just like, it's human nature. Obviously, if you have the power, you're going to use it. Or a lot of people don't have the self-control, they can't help themselves but not to use it. So when you hear this stuff, right, whether, it's the redefinition of words, or in the case of Spain, where it's like, it's imperative that we have access to the data. History has shown that you use that data and you use it against innocent people that just want to speak their mind. So again, like it goes down to a very, very basic principle that I think a lot of Bitcoiners believe. In fact, it's ingrained in Bitcoin. It's ingrained in Bitcoin, right? Can you censor on Bitcoin? Could anyone censor on Bitcoin? No, can't censor on Bitcoin, right? Can you print more Bitcoin for free? No, you can't do that, right? So it creates like this ecosystem. There is no privileged class that gets to dictate what speech is okay. And, you could say money is a form of speech. And there is no privileged class that gets to issue money for free that everyone else has to work for. What governments are basically advocating for is you need them. You need that privileged class, because society would not be able to function without that privileged class. But as the Twitter files have shown, and I think as the last couple of years have shown, that they have consistently abused this power to protect their own political moat over and over again. Here's a tweet by Alex Gladstein, still one of the greatest Bitcoin tweets of all time. So someone called Buttcoin, that's not me saying that, said there isn't a single goddamn thing that Bitcoin can do for retail that Apple Pay doesn't already do 10 times better. And then Zia Sadar said, I can't use Apple Pay, PayPal, Visa, Master, or anything like that. I'm from Iran. I could use Bitcoin. What do you have to say? And it's a very, very powerful message, right? Clearly, this person, Buttcoin, has financial privilege. Clearly, they're an American citizen, or they live in a country that has very, very well developed financial rails. And the vast majority of the world, the global South, they do not have that same privilege, or they live in a country, in a totalitarian country, where, if the government had control of the money, they will weaponize it against you. And here is this funny ass video that I ran into on Twitter. I'm going to pull an Opti today. I'm going to insert a bit of a meme. And I love this Twitter account. It's from CCTV Idiots. And it says, for rent bike abruptly locks because rider's deposit balance suddenly ran out. Well, could you imagine if this guy was working or using a central bank digital currency and his social credit system went below a certain score? That would suck. You would faceplant. Don't allow central bank digital currencies to allow you to faceplant against the payment because you decided to use a gas stove or you decided to eat too much steak that month. Be free. Use a currency that no one can control. No one can make more of without a cost. Refuse to work for money that another man can make for free. Refuse to work for money that another man could change the rules to that money to benefit themselves. Refuse to do that. And by the way, what I just said, that applies to shitcoins, right? Work for money where the rules are set in stone and no one could change the rules, and there is no privileged class, elite class that benefit from it. And only Bitcoin could do this, right? Only Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the only, cryptocurrency that has true decentralization. It's the only cryptocurrency that no one really controls. There's a set of rules. Those rules don't change. And I think the world would be a much better place, if we live in that type of world. And that's what we're fighting for. Anyways, Opti, what's your take on this, bro? I know I covered a lot, but I hope I tied it together.
Yeah. There's a lot to cover, but I'm just going to kind of go back into the beginning. The whole digital asset talk. Bitcoin is a database. It's simply code, guys. It's human readable text, and you can literally print the whole Bitcoin network and all the UTXO set into a book. Like the crypto wars of the '90s proves that this is protected by the Constitution. So the IRS can kick rocks, but Beautyon's been on this way for a while. Like this is why he is on that idea of being very correct with the words that you are saying. There's no such thing as a digital asset, even though I know a lot of politicians are kind of angling Bitcoin and shitcoins under this digital asset framework. But this framing gives politicians all the framing they need to do their politicking and clamp down on Bitcoin and even shitcoins and stuff. So like, this is why they continuously try to roll out the money transmitter licenses, all that stuff. It's like Bitcoin is simply code, guys. This is a First Amendment issue here. Like Bitcoin is speech, full stop. It's a database. You know, I know it's used as money. It's a pseudo money to maybe try to frame it in a way that people can understand. But on that same framing, like Bitcoin cannot be regulated. But again, this won't stop politicians from trying, because we know why they are freaking out. They want to control this exit route that is Bitcoin. So, you know, I'm not really surprised that we are seeing this, but it really does remind me of the IRS news that we saw a while ago of them hiring 9,000 new IRS agents. It's almost like they're creating an army to come after everyone around the world, apparently.
Well, like, and, you know, and again, like, you know, I'm not against paying taxes. I think, you know, you have to, you know, follow the laws in your country and all that stuff. It's just, you know, like, it's the theory from the sovereign individual. You know, as the nation state continues to grow bigger, you know, these nation states continue to grow bigger, and they continue to take on this much debt. They're going to have a ton of expenses of which they can't pay for. And then, of course, that forces them to squeeze their citizens more and more and more and more and more, right? And then, you know, unfortunately, the IRS just happens to be the tax collection agency in the United States, right? But again, like, I don't really blame any of these individuals at the IRS. They're just following their own, dude, it's their job. They're paid to do that, you know? But I think that, you know, we're like kind of living in this world, right, where, you know, the governments are turning on their own citizens just to keep on the lights. And by the way, I don't think this is so apparent in the United States. I mean, I think it's apparent to Bitcoiners, but like in the case of Argentina is fascinating. You know, they take a bailout deal, says you can't allow the adoption of Bitcoin. You know, they install capital controls. They don't want people fleeing to the dollar. You know, there's an official rate for the currency. Then there's a black market rate for the currency. There's two rates. You know, so it goes to a fundamental question: are governments really for the people, by the people, or are governments by the government, for the government? And I think Bitcoin exposes incentives, and I think Bitcoin is going to expose a lot of governments that say, hey, you know, we're a representative democracy. We represent you. But in reality, you know, they're self-serving. And I think Bitcoin exposes that. And it exposes the fraud that is fiat money, right? They say it's a public money, but truly the benefactors are the rich that benefit from asset inflation. And truly the benefactors are governments themselves, right? Anyways, Albert, what are your thoughts on all this?
Well, exactly what you guys just said. Just yesterday, I think there was an article about Argentina central banks preventing all the financial institutions from offering Bitcoin, right? And you know, Argentina just accepted a loan from the IMF. You know, if you accept a loan from the IMF, basically IMF'd, right? You're IMF. Hey, you're it's like doing business with a loan shark. And yeah, so you could, I mean, why would the IMF, who's supposed to help countries that are struggling, why would they tell them specifically, you can't use Bitcoin? That doesn't make sense. If you're trying to help somebody, you would let them do what they want. You don't give with one hand and kind of take with the other hand. And you know, I've read some of Gladstein's stuff. I haven't read his new book, but you know, this kind of stuff is they've done so many times to so many countries. It's sad and pathetic, but it's going to be all over. It'll be over for them. Just some time. Just gotta give it some time, and they'll be done. World Bank, they'll be effed as well.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. I think Bitcoin's incentives are going to stay winning, and all they have to throw at us is coercion, I think. And I'm more bullish on incentives than I am on coercion. Anyways, everybody, we are transitioning into the information age, and you definitely want to, you want to keep your generational wealth. You don't want to lose your generational wealth. And one of the worst ways to do that is by not properly securing your 24-word seed phrase. So you want to store your seed phrase on steel. You don't want to store it on paper. This is the BitPlates Domino. It's easy to use, hard to destroy. BitPlates Dominoes are designed to preserve Bitcoin wallet backup seed words and passphrases. It's made from highly coercion-resistant 316 marine-grade stainless steel, and it offers the ultimate protection against extremes of temperatures. You could take advantage of the promo code SIMPLY to get yourself a 10% discount, anything on the bitplates.com store. Anyways, Opti, let's get to the culture. Let's do it.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today. All right, guys, I also want to talk about Swan's new offer. Bitcoin is generational wealth, and you can secure your bright orange future with the Swan IRA. Real Bitcoin, no taxes. Swan offers both traditional and Roth options to best fit your needs. Create your IRA and start adding Bitcoin in less than 1 minute. Transfers and rollovers are available. Swan's Bitcoin experts will get you set up with no transfer fees and no minimum balance requirements. This is real Bitcoin, not ETF or other derivative. Get the real thing and get it at Swan. Go to swan.com/IRA for more details. And of course, if you have any questions, doubts, or concerns, you could always send me a DM on Twitter and I'll be happy to answer them. Anyways, Opti, what are we covering today on the culture?
Well, everyone is saying let Albert talk. So this is where we let Albert talk. All right. I have your website over here, and people may be asking, what is going on here? Why are we talking about eyes? What is going on here? But if you see up here on top, we have the We Accept Bitcoin here. And Albert, you are the first optometrist in Canada to accept Bitcoin. So how has that journey been? Why are you accepting Bitcoin? Maybe let's just start there.
Well, I started accepting Bitcoin at the end of December, so it's been just about 6 months right now. As of now, about 6 months. And really, I don't expect too many people to come offering to pay in Bitcoin. First of all, because number one, I work part-time. I've been working part-time for 16 years. Number two, half my patients are seniors. They don't pay. They're funded by the government. And then of course, how many people are gonna come to their optometrist wanting to pay in Bitcoin, right? But the main reason that I did that is because I wanted to hopefully help remove the stigma of Bitcoin, because most normies, most people who do not understand Bitcoin, they think of it as something dark and for drug dealers, and as soon as they hear Bitcoin, they close their mind. And so hopefully being a professional, that might help them at least maybe not pay in Bitcoin, but think a little bit better of it. So if they hear about it some more from other sources, they might remember that their eye doctor accepts Bitcoin, and they'll do a little bit of research. So, as of today, I still have not had a single patient pay in Bitcoin, although I've had a few people, about 7 or 8 people, ask about Bitcoin. They go, "Oh, I see you got a sign at your front desk that you accept Bitcoin." And some of them are into shitcoins, and I try to straighten them out as best as I can in the limited time that I have. I provide them resources, and I always ask them, if they have any questions, to come in or to email me, and I can help them out. So That's the main purpose, is to hopefully get people asking about it so I can point them in the right direction.
Absolutely love it, and I'm glad you touched on something because I was going to ask the basically the same question. Do you think that your Bitcoin message comes across stronger because you are a doctor, a professional, or do you think people believe it might be out of your expertise? Because I know I'm just a dude on YouTube that likes
Mm.
Bitcoin, and half the time when I talk to people about Bitcoin, they're like, what are you talking about? You're not a financial advisor and all this. It's just like, hey, bro, it's improved my life and it can improve your life. But how do you think your message comes across to your clients?
Well, I asked my receptionist if what the reaction is when people see the sticker at my desk, and a lot of them will say, "Oh, he accepts Bitcoin," and then I told my receptionist to let them know, if they have any questions, to come and speak to me about it when they come into the exam room. So I think that kind of says a lot about the mainstream um, thinking about Bitcoin, because when they go, "Oh, he accepts Bitcoin," they're surprised in a, I think it's in a way like, "Whoa, I thought it was for drug dealers," but obviously he's my eye doctor for 20 years, 25 years, and I don't think he's a drug dealer. So um, I think over time it'll grow, and more people, not just from me, obviously, but when it's more mainstream, and then when they see that I'm one of the first optometrists or doctors in Canada, uh, they will hopefully remember that.
Absolutely love it. So I think just going back a little bit, what originally got you into Bitcoin? Like how has your personal Bitcoin journey been?
Yeah, I started in 2021, January 2021. So what happened was in COVID during March 2020. You know, uh, I put a bunch of money shorting the markets, because at the time the entire world was shut down. There was no planes, there was no trains, there was no hotels, no restaurants, no retail, no nothing. And of course, at the time, I didn't know anything about money printing. I just thought that there's just no way stocks were going to go up. So I put a short on the markets, and as the weeks went by, months went by, I'm losing and I'm losing and I'm losing, and I'm like, this makes no sense. And I think in about 9, 10 months, I had lost about 80% of my initial investment, and I was stuck. I'm like, it doesn't make sense to sell, and I'm certainly not going to short some more, and I'm not going to buy. I'm like, what the heck am I going to do? And I just thought about it, and I had no idea, because before this, I wasn't really that financially literate. I just had a few ETFs, like these all world ETFs. It's kind of like a DIY or DIY investing, where you just kind of set it and forget it. And so yeah, I was down about 80%, didn't know what to do. And my son, who was 16 at the time, he started getting into Bitcoin, and he bought a bit. He told me about it, and he probably got it because like, he's into social media, of course, at that age, and I wasn't. I had never had any Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, none of that. And so I guess he probably got into it because of the hype, because it was pumping at the time. And he told me about it. And at first, of course, I'm like, no, this is gambling. And but eventually I looked into it, and I bought a little bit just to basically bond with my son. And but once I had some, I started doing a bit of research on it, and after can't really remember exactly anymore, but after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I really got sucked down the rabbit hole. And yeah, I just kept buying. And then eventually I got sidetracked, just like most Bitcoiners' journey. I got sidetracked by the shitcoins. I was trying to use them to make more fiat so that I could buy more Bitcoin. And of course, that didn't work out. And but now I'm all straightened out. It's all Bitcoin, thanks to my son. And he's in university right now. And well, he's been off for a few weeks, but he's in first year university. Unfortunately, he's no longer into Bitcoin. I'm going to try to get him back into it. Hopefully, sooner the better.
Absolutely love the story. I think the story is very relatable and on many respects. Everyone in the chat's like, shouts out to your son, an absolute legend. But I do have a few questions. First one is like, how was the switch from being fiat minded to going to like understanding that the only number that really counts is having more sets under your control?
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, prior to 2020, you know, I think about it fairly often. I'm like, what? How did I get into this? How did I get sucked down this rabbit hole? Because, you know, to be honest, I was never a well-read person. I never read books about. The only time I read books is if I wanted to know how to do something. I mean, prior to Bitcoin, I've been a poker player for 25 years, and I'd read all sorts of books since the mid 90s. And so, yeah, so that's how I was. And I didn't know much about history, I didn't know anything about money, didn't know anything about politics, nothing like that. But somehow, when I found Bitcoin, I became interested in all those things because they all made sense. When something makes sense to me, uh, I get pretty focused. Um, I still study, of course, like all Bitcoiners. You know, even today, I'm currently taking a course on Saylor Academy on Austrian economics. So I'm almost done that. Hopefully, I'll pass that exam. I did that other one. There's a Bitcoin one on Saylor Academy as well. I did that over a year ago. So yeah, I mean, to answer your original question, from I didn't even know. I still remember when my son first taught me how to buy Bitcoin. It was on Binance. So I download the app and I'm looking at it, and it has all these words that I never heard of the word fiat. There was all these terms, like I was expecting it to look like my online banking account. You know, I thought it was going to be easy, but yeah, I did. There was words like futures and of course fiat, and I just didn't know how to use it. But he taught me eventually, and of course, you know, you learn the hard way. Uh, you know, getting into shit coins is the price you pay. It's the tuition, but it's all worth it because I know what the future. You know, there's. Let's put this. This is a thesis. This is a term that I like to use. You know, coming from a poker background, uh, Bitcoin to me is a free roll. Free roll, if you ever played poker before, is it's a hand that you really can't lose. You know, you have your cards in your hand, you have the flop. Once the flop comes, you're either going to win or you're going to, at worst, tie with your opponent. And this is what Bitcoin is to me because whether Bitcoin works or not, and we Bitcoiners know it's going to work, but if if for whatever reason there's some fatal bug or whatever, if it doesn't work, then we're screwed. We're in the fiat. We're slaves forever. So you can't lose either way. So I don't really care about the money that I put into Bitcoin. If Bitcoin fails, it makes no difference because I would have lost that money by theft anyways. So
I love that. That's such a strong statement where it's like, I don't care, if Bitcoin, I would have lost that money through inflation anyways, regardless. Right. And that's
right.
a very, very powerful statement, man. I like that a lot. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that anywhere else.
You guys play poker at all?
Before? I love poker.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of poker. You should come to Unconfiscatable in Las Vegas. It's a Bitcoin conference.
Well, I don't play anymore. Okay. Because I played poker before poker was mainstream, and so I played Limit Hold'em, and Limit Hold'em is kind of dead now because it got taken over by No Limit. So I quit a few years ago. There's no game really to be found where I live.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of poker. I love poker. I love Texas Hold'em.
It's
played a couple times. It's good to play with your friends. I don't like gambling in general, but I like there's something about
poker's not gambling. In the long run, it's not gambling. On a single hand, it's gambling.
Okay.
But in the long run, it's not gambling because you're either better than everyone else or you're not. So you're going to win in the end or you're going to lose, which is not a gamble. But the other poker reference that I like is, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, like all this FUD, all this ESG and all this crap that Lagarde, Otis X, spews out, and Elizabeth Warren. It's like we have a royal flush and they're trying to bluff us off our hand. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, let's go. Wisdom.
Yeah. I love that. It's a good perspective. Good perspective. I love poker. Big fan. Anyways, Opti, let's we're running a little short on time today.
Let's go to the memes. Get to the memes. We got to give them the memes, Joe.
We got to give them the memes. I got a surprise for you guys.
Let's go.
After the memes.
Let's do it.
The Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Kaboom Racks. I get this question all the time. Nico, where should I buy Bitcoin miners? The answer is Kaboom Racks. It's the best place to buy Bitcoin miners. That's where you're going to find the best deals and the best prices. Start your mining utopia today. To check out their racks, you got to go to t.me/Kaboom Racks. Join their Telegram group and start your mining journey today. Kaboom Racks. Hey, Opti.
Yes.
It's me, Chrissy.
All right, someone mute him. All right, guys, this is the meme review.
Opti, I have to tell you something.
Kaboom Racks. All right, guys, this is the meme review. I know we didn't give you one yesterday, and this is why we're going to give it to you today, because you guys wouldn't let us survive if we didn't give you the memes. But you already know the deal. Tweets are the bullets, memes are the artillery. We are in an information war. And it's upon all of us as individuals to spread the signal, whether that means calls of actions, whether that means ridiculing the corporate press, whether that means just keeping your friends' morale up by giving them some humor. Memes are extremely powerful. So continue to tag me on Twitter, drop them in our Telegram group, and I will do my best to get to every single one of the memes on the show. Okay, the first meme is by Lena Sisha, and she goes, since 2012. And we got some little hodlers here, and we got 3 of them, and they go, I've known about Bitcoin since 2012. And we got this other hodler. He goes, wow, you guys must be rich. And the first one's like, yeah, I've known about Bitcoin because it looked like a bubble and I seen it in 2012. And then the next one is like, yeah, I heard about Bitcoin in 2012, but it just seems too complicated. And then the third one is like, yeah, I knew about Bitcoin in 2012, but I got doxxed. And everyone's like, oh, well, funny story. Nope, I am not rich because there's a lot of pitfalls in the Bitcoin space. Secure your Bitcoin, hold Bitcoin, continue to spread Bitcoin, and, protect your neck, guys. Protect your neck out there because everyone wants your Bitcoin. Anyways, this next meme, I tagged you yesterday, Mick Hodlface, but we didn't get to the meme review, so I brought you back on today. And we got this picture here, classic meme format, and he goes, Bitcoin fiat price volatility, and it's someone getting stabbed in the heart. And then it's me, and he's just unfazed, man, whatever. Bitcoin price goes up, it goes down. But we know one thing. Hold on. Wait, wrong one. Wrong one. Wait, wrong one. Sorry.
It's going up forever.
Okay, this next one is Nico posted this, but really it's our boy BTC Therapist. And when I see Dave Chappelle memes on Twitter and they're Bitcoin related, I try to put them up on the show as much as possible because I grew up watching the Chappelle show. Anyways, he goes, when inflation is worse than ever, but Bitcoin is going up forever. And it's the Chappelle show clip where it goes, modern problems require modern solutions. Saving Bitcoin. This is the way. Okay, this next one is by Bitcoin Meme Hub. And, the picture isn't the meme itself. It's the comment about the picture. So we got a picture of the EU, some 100 euros and Monopoly money, 100 Monopoly dollars. And he goes, both are backed by nothing but faith. It is all Monopoly paper money. And a little side story. I was over with my friends, the Rogers, over last weekend, and they had some euros there. And I was just sitting there, we're laughing, and I'm like, wow, their money feels so fake. And then we laughed at ourselves and we pulled out some dollars and we're like, but this one feels more real. Like they're both just as fake. It's all fake paper money.
Ooh, that's
bars.
That's the truth right there.
Okay, this one, this is Beauty On, and I know Beauty On is not the biggest fan of our meme review section, but hey, he puts memes out on Twitter anyways. So we got a picture here of Saifedean in class teaching people about what is money, and we got all the students learning, and Beauty On goes exactly the same, and he puts a picture from Star Wars where they go to blow up
the Death Star.
The Death Star, exactly. This is what we are doing as Bitcoiners. We are blowing up the fiat Death Star. Okay, the next meme is by our friend 21GCLP on Twitter. And this is one of these awesome, I'm pretty sure this is Midjourney AI,
Totally.
AI art creation. And we got Bitcoin in the middle, and all roads lead to Bitcoin. And this is Bitcoiners walking into the bright orange future, into a better future by holding Bitcoin, by sharing Bitcoin. And this next one, I know I try to avoid nepotism on our meme review, but hey, dude, the Bitcoin Therapist is absolutely killing it in the meme game. I'm so glad we brought you on and you're dropping some original Simply Bitcoin memes for us, because this one is absolutely wonderful. And we just dropped it in the morning. We go, good morning. And we got a Bitcoin OG teaching a monkey how to shoot a rifle, but it's the Bitcoin OG teaching plebs to dollar cost average $5 a day, because this is the way. Avoid the volatility price and just continue to stack. Always buy Bitcoin. This is how you don't lose. Okay. Anyways, drop your meme review score in the chat. Is this the meme review score? Meme review score in the chat, and we'll cover it live. Okay, Nico, what is going on here?
Yeah, this is my meme score. Chrissy came in because she heard you talking shit about the euro. So, she's upset, Opti. She's upset at you right now.
She looks like she's thinking about Opti still. Look at those eyes. I can tell by the eyes.
Right?
My eyes never lie, Chico.
Right. Opti and Opto.
Oh my goodness. All right. Okay, this is Friday show. I'm getting trolled. Okay.
That is my score. That is my score.
All right. My score for you guys out there, I am a huge dark chocolate aficionado. I love dark chocolate. So I have this Tony's dark chocolate, 70%. This stuff is delicious. Highly recommend this brand. I think this is my favorite dark chocolate brand by far.
I love dark chocolate too.
She's got culture.
Albert, what's your score?
All right. Here we go. My meme review score. I'm really lucky because there aren't too many wives who are Bitcoiners. My wife is a Bitcoiner, and she knits these. And when I orange pill somebody, I'll give them one of these pills.
Yes.
I'm trying to orange pill my daughter right now. I've gotten her to read Bullish Case for Bitcoin from Boyd Patty last week, and I got a lot more articles and videos for her to study up on, hopefully before she leaves for school. My wife makes these as well to hang on your car windshield. But for you guys, my wife has made.
Let's go.
It's Opti.
Who's that? That's Opti. And of
It's
course,
Opti.
and I haven't forgotten you.
Ah!
Look at that.
Oh, this is amazing. This
Give
is
me your,
amazing.
Oh my
address and I'll
goodness.
This is
ship these out to you guys.
amazing. This
Wow.
is amazing. Oh, I am so
That's
humbled.
beautiful.
I am so humbled and
Yeah.
this is incredible. I can't believe it. Thank you so much to Albert's wife. This is the best meme score. I'm saying it, Opti. I'm dropping it.
Wow.
The best meme score we ever got. I just took a screenshot. I'm posting it to Twitter. That was very humbling. Thanks, Albert. We really
You're
appreciate
very
that.
welcome. You know what the funny thing is? My wife works for Wells Fargo.
Well, we need Bitcoiners inside the belly of the beast.
We
Yeah.
need we need Bitcoiners inside the system.
Oh my goodness.
It's a great score, Albert.
It was like looking in a mirror, Nico.
Yeah, and I'm like, that looks like Opti.
I'll send it to you guys. You guys
no
go to
way.
Bitcoin halving party?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
So are we.
Let's go.
We'll see you
Okay.
there, but we'll send it off to you guys. What state are you guys in?
Separate ones. We're in the
Yeah,
last two free states in the U.S.
Yeah,
Texas and Florida.
Texas and
Oh,
Florida.
nice.
Yes.
All right, yeah, we'll get in touch. Oh man, that's amazing. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
Can I just give a shout out to my daughter McKenna?
Of
Yes.
course, of course.
You gotta earn one of these, okay? So hopefully by the end of summer, you'll understand what Daddy's trying to do.
Yeah, and you're an amazing father as well. And maybe she doesn't quite understand right now, but in the decade, she'll be very, very, very extremely happy that you passed on those lessons.
Hold on,
My
Nico,
son, I gotta get my son to come back too. He started
Yeah.
me on this, and he's got to come back.
Before
Yeah.
we get to the meme review score, Nico, I think Albert is literally living something that I talk about on Spaces all the time, is just being a good example of being a Bitcoiner. He's living his message. He's helping, his family get on the Bitcoin standard. And I think that's just a powerful message that we heard from you today, Albert. So really appreciate it. Everyone in the chat's like, you're doing a great job out there, bro. So I just want to continue to give you kudos. Absolute Chad.
Thanks so much. I wish I could code. I mean,
I mean, and I hear that a lot, right? Which is like, oh, we don't code. Like we like building, like this is it takes everything. It takes people building infrastructure, people making content, for your like what you're doing in your individual case, Albert, where you're educating, you're going above and beyond, and you're educating your daughter, and one day, I'm sure, many years from now, your daughter will have her own family, and she will pass on those lessons. And that's how we win. That's how we win. This is a generational thing that we're all kind of enduring. And one of the fascinating things to me is I've been doing this for a pretty long time, almost a decade, right? It's gonna be my 8th year next year. And it still blows my mind how difficult it is for people to understand what Bitcoin is, and for people to ask what money is. It's a very difficult concept, right? It took me at least a year or two before I'm like fully, and then obviously in hindsight, you're like, this is so obvious, like, duh. But, a lot of people have a hard time taking that initial orange pill. So Albert, I'm speechless, so incredibly humbled, and thank you so much for your wife, and your daughter is very, very lucky because she has an awesome dad. Anyways, guys, before we get to the meme review score, I want to give a shout out to our clothing sponsor, Opti and I wear the merch every single day. RepresentLTD.com. I'm wearing the grenade. That's right, the grenade camo hoodie. Opti's wearing the Bitcoin merch. You can only get it at RepresentLTD.com. You can use the promo code simply-Bitcoin, get yourself a big discount. And you can scan the QR code screen. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now, and it'll take you directly to the Represent Simply Bitcoin Classic Snapback hat, only on representltd.com. Anyways, let's bring back Albert, and let's go through some of the scores, Opti. But first, cue the epic music. Rave Elevator. I give the memes a basketball game, Nico and Opti versus Prince and the Revolution.
If you know, you know.
All right, Narwhal Tacos, meme score, a flask full of Sats juice. When you drink it, you wake up with more Sats than you had before you drank it. Very, very nice, Narwhal. I like that. Clout Casino, I give those memes one fresh mouse for Opti's girlfriend, Lizard person. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Planet Earth, I give these memes a royal flush from the eye doc. Send it. Woo! I love that one. Tough Cookies, Tacos, love that. Okay, very nice. Next one, Igor, I give the memes a tour of my citadel. Like that, I like that. All right, next one. Kobach Boys, I give it best meme of all time. Okay, yeah, I love that. Okay, all right. Next one, Opti, are we buzzing it?
Wait. We got one more. We got two more.
I'm not reading that name. I give the memes a beneficiary turned benefactor. Very, very good. Hodl Coins, as I give the memes a lizard falling on stage. Bitcoin network never fails. All right.
Also, they wanted us to give them horns for the little Nico Opti orange pills. So.
Well deserved horns. Opti's disciplined. There you go. Look at that. Let's full screen it.
I tried to get my wife to make a Christine Lagarde one, but she refused.
Right next, you should just join them together, Opti and Christine Lagarde as a couple forever. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Simply Bitcoin Live. We really appreciate it. I want to give a shout out to our awesome guest who gave the best meme score of all time. Albert, thank you so much for joining us today, man. We really appreciate it. Why don't you tell everybody where they could find you on the interwebs or anything interesting that you're working on nowadays?
I'm not that much a social media person, but my Twitter handle is iRaise, so EYE, raise, like raising in poker, and my website's there. If anyone wants to come for an eye exam, you get 20% off if you pay in Bitcoin, and you can be the first patient in Canada who pays in Bitcoin.
Love that. Now, you guys heard it here first. Take care of your eyes. It's the only way you could see. And you can take care of your eyes by paying in Bitcoin now. Anyways, Albert, it's been an honor to have you on the show, my friend. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks.
Guys, that was another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. If you feel like we provided you value, consider subscribing. But the number one thing you could do to help push the peaceful Bitcoin revolution forward is share this content. In fact, share all Bitcoin content. Don't share shitcoin content because it's counterproductive. You guys know what I mean. If you guys want to join the after party, join us on Twitter Spaces. Hopefully Albert could join. And we are hosting that until 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so about a 30-minute after party. And we are co-hosting the Twitter Spaces, which are with our friends over at Swan Bitcoin. Best place to build your Bitcoin stack. Go to swan.com/simply. Do it right now. Anyways, guys, until then, enjoy your weekend. Have an awesome time, and we'll see you on Monday for a brand new episode of Simply Bitcoin Live.
All right, guys. Well, on a side note from our guest over here, Dr. Albert, I do need an optometrist right now. I need to go get my eyes checked. So I really wish I was in Canada and I could get 20%